I collected all 3 kids and walked out of that mansion. My ex-husband just stared at his plate. Let me back up. My name is Jessica, and I'm 34 years old. I work in marketing at a tech company in Portland, Oregon. I've been divorced from Brad for 3 years now, and we have 2 beautiful daughters together, Emma, who's 9, and Lily, who's 7. The divorce wasn't particularly ugly. We just grew apart, wanted different things. Brad remarried quickly, but I took my time. 2 years ago, I met Miguel at Emma's school. He's a 4th grade teacher there, 36, with the kindest eyes I'd ever seen. His wife had passed away from cancer 2 years before we met, leaving him with their son, Diego, who was 6 at the time. When Emma came home talking about Mr. Son, Martinez every single day, I thought she just had a teacher crush. Then we met at parent-teacher conferences. I fell for him slowly, carefully. Both of us had been through loss. Mine was the death of a marriage, his was the death of his person. We understood each other's caution. Diego and my girls became inseparable almost immediately. They'd have sleepovers at each other's houses, build blanket forts, share their toys without fighting. Well, they fought sometimes, but like siblings fight, with love underneath. Brad's parents, Linda and Robert, live in West Lynn in one of those houses that looks like it belongs in a magazine. Old money. Robert's grandfather founded a lumber company that's now worth millions. They'd always been civil to me during the marriage, but distant. I was from a working-class family in Gresham, not quite what they'd envisioned for their son. After the divorce, though, they doubled down on the girls. Expensive gifts for every occasion. They paid for Emma's piano lessons and Lily's ballet classes. Last year, they offered to cover the girls' private school tuition, $30,000 a year. I was hesitant, but Brad encouraged it. Let them spoil their grandchildren, he said. What's the harm? I agreed. Money was tight as a single mom, and I wanted the best for my daughters. This September, Miguel and I got serious. We'd been dating for almost 2 years, and we were talking about moving in together. The kids were ecstatic. Diego had started calling my apartment home without even realizing it. Emma and Lily asked when Diego could be their official brother. I decided it was time for Brad's parents to meet Miguel and Diego properly. They'd seen Miguel briefly at school events. He's hard to miss. Always the teacher parents crowd around because their kids adore him, but we'd never had a formal introduction. I wanted to blend our families, show them that this was getting serious. Thanksgiving seemed perfect. Linda always hosted, always made a production of it. 30-pound turkey, 3 kinds of pie, her famous stuffing recipe that she guarded like a state secret. I called her in early November. Linda, hi, I wanted to ask about Thanksgiving. Oh, Jessica, of course you and the girls are coming. I already have their place settings planned. Actually, I wanted to ask if I could bring a guest. 2 guests, technically. A pausa. Oh? I've been seeing someone. Miguel. He's Emma's teacher, actually. He has a son. Diego. He's 8, right between the girls. They're incredibly close. Another pause, longer this time. I see. Well, let me talk to Robert. She called back 3 days later. Her voice had that tight quality it got when she was displeased but trying to hide it. We'd be delighted to meet your friend and his son. How nice for the girls to have a playmate. Something about the way she said playmate bothered me, but I pushed it aside. This was progress. This was blending families. The week before Thanksgiving, I took the girls shopping for something nice to wear. Miguel took Diego. We wanted to make a good impression. Emma picked a navy dress with a white collar. Lily chose something with sparkles. When I showed Miguel pictures, he laughed. Diego picked his button-up shirt with dinosaurs on it. The dress one. He said he wanted to look fancy but still be himself. I loved that kid. The night before Thanksgiving, I couldn't sleep. Miguel noticed. You're worried, he said, his hand finding mine in the dark. I just want this to go well. If they're anything like their daughter-in-law, we'll be fine. Ex-daughter-in-law, I corrected. They haven't earned that ex yet, he said. You're still taking care of Brad's kids, which means you're still family in some way. I wish he'd been right. We drove to West Lynn on Thanksgiving morning. Diego sat between Emma and Lily in the back seat, all 3 of them watching a movie on Emma's tablet. Miguel drove. I'd had mimosas for breakfast, just one, but enough to settle my nerves. The house looked like something from a holiday card. Lights strung perfectly, wreath on the door with actual fresh pine. Linda opened the door before we could knock. Girls! She swept Emma and Lily into hugs, kissing their foreheads. Don't you look beautiful? Come in, come in. Grandpa's in the living room. He has presents for you. She completely ignored Diego standing right there. Miguel's hand found the small of my back. I felt him tense. Linda, this is Miguel Martinez. And this is his son Diego. Oh, yes, hello. She shook Miguel's hand quickly, barely glancing at Diego. Come in. You can put your coats in the study. The house smelled like turkey and sage. Brad was already there, drink in hand, looking uncomfortable in a sweater his mother had probably bought him. His new wife, Brittany, perched on the couch like a decorative pillow. Hey, Jess, Brad said. Miguel. Good to see you. At least he tried. Robert emerged from his study, all smiles. There are my girls. Emma and Lily ran to him. He'd been a distant grandfather during the marriage, but after the divorce, he'd become devoted. Or so I thought. He handed them each a wrapped box, a little something before dinner. Emma got a new iPad. Lily got an American Girl doll she'd been wanting for months. They squealed with delight. Diego stood next to Miguel, watching. His face carefully neutral, but I saw the way his hand found his dad's. And this must be the young man, Robert said, finally acknowledging Diego. I'm Diego, he said politely, extending his hand like Miguel had taught him. Robert shook it. Diego. Interesting. Are you excited for dinner? Yes, sir. My dad said Mrs. Linda makes the best turkey in Portland. I'd fed Miguel that line to pass on to Diego, an olive branch. Linda forced a smile. How sweet. Well, dinner won't be ready for a bit. Why don't you children go play? She gestured vaguely toward the den. Emma and Lily grabbed their new gifts and ran. Diego followed, but I noticed Linda direct them to different spaces. The girls went to the den with their presents. Diego was pointed toward the kitchen breakfast nook. You can play there, sweetie. The den is getting cleaned. It wasn't getting cleaned. I'd just seen the girls run in there. Miguel caught it too. His jaw tightened, but he said nothing. The next hour crawled. Brad and Robert talked about football. Brittany showed me pictures of her new car. Linda kept disappearing into the kitchen, waving away my offers to help. I checked on the kids twice. Emma and Lily were in the den, playing with their new things. Diego sat at the breakfast nook alone, drawing on a placemat with the crayons Linda kept in a cup for when kids visited. You okay, buddy? I asked. I'm good. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Just drawing. The third time I checked, Emma was with him. She'd brought her iPad. Diego and I are watching a movie, she announced. We're going to watch all the Marvel movies in order. It's our project. My daughter. My beautiful, inclusive daughter. When Linda called us for dinner, I felt the shift immediately. The dining table was set with Linda's good china, crystal glasses, cloth napkins, and silver rings. Place cards at each setting. The girls' cards were at the main table, between Brad and Robert. Miguel and I were across from each other. Linda at one end, Robert at the other. Diego's card was at the kids' table. The kids' table was a plastic folding table set up in the corner of the dining room. The kind you buy at Target for $15. Paper plates? Plastic cups? Linda? I kept my voice level. I think there might be a mistake. Diego's card is at the kids' table, but Emma and Lily are at the main table. Oh, well, the girls are older, Linda said breezily. They can handle the good china, and there wasn't quite enough room at the main table for everyone. The kids' table is fun. Diego won't mind. Diego stood in the doorway, looking at the plastic table, then at Emma and Lily's spots at the main table. His face did something complicated hurt, then carefully blank again. Miguel stepped forward. Actually, I think all the kids should sit together. It's more fun that way, right, mijo? Diego nodded, relief flooding his features. Oh, but the girls love sitting with the adults, Linda protested. Don't you girls? Emma looked between the main table and Diego at the plastic table. She was 9, but she understood what was happening. I want to sit with Diego, she said firmly. Me too, Lily added. We always sit together. Linda's smile went rigid. Well, if that's what you all prefer. The 3 kids squeezed around the plastic table. It was too small for them, knees bumping, but they made it work. Emma and Lily had to eat off paper plates, even though their place settings at the main table remained untouched. Dinner started. Robert carved the turkey. Plates were passed. Miguel tried to make conversation about teaching, about Portland's schools. Brad nodded along but didn't contribute much. Brittany stayed silent. I watched Linda prepare plates. The girls got generous portions of white meat, sweet potatoes, stuffing. She heaped their plates, smiling. When she got to Diego, she paused. Then she scraped together what looked like leftovers from the edges of serving dishes. Dark meat. The crusty end of the stuffing. A tiny spoonful of potatoes. There you go, sweetheart, she said, setting it in front of him. The plate looked like scraps, like something you'd give someone as an afterthought. Miguel saw it. I saw him see it. His hand gripped his fork so hard his knuckles went white. Linda, I said quietly. Diego's plate looks a little light. Could he have some more turkey? Oh, I gave him what was left, she said. I made sure to save the best pieces for the girls. They're growing so fast. Need their protein. For the girls, not for all the children. For the girls. I'm sure there's more turkey, Miguel said. His voice was steady, but I heard the tremor underneath. The bird was enormous. Well, Robert likes leftovers. Turkey sandwiches tomorrow. I need to make sure we have enough. Linda sat down, picked up her wine glass. Diego has plenty. Kids don't need much. I looked at Diego's plate, then at Emma's and Lily's. The difference was stark. It wasn't even subtle. Emma noticed. She picked up her fork, then set it down. She looked at Diego, then at her grandmother. Grandma, why does Diego have less food? He doesn't, sweetie. He has a perfect amount. But our plates are bigger. You're growing girls, Linda repeated. You need your nutrition. Diego's growing too, Lily pointed out. He grew 2 inches since summer. We measured. Robert cleared his throat. Let's just enjoy our meal, shall we? Linda worked hard on this dinner. We ate in tense silence. I couldn't taste anything. Halfway through, Lily quietly slid half her turkey onto Diego's paper plate when Linda wasn't looking. Emma did the same with her stuffing. After dinner, Linda brought out pies. Pumpkin, apple, pecan. She cut generous slices for everyone at the main table. For the kids' table, she brought out a tub of vanilla ice cream from the kitchen. I didn't make enough pie for everyone, she said. But kids like ice cream better anyway, don't they? That was a lie. I'd watched her pull 3 full pies from the oven. There was enough for a dozen people. Diego looked at the ice cream, then at the pie everyone else had. He didn't say anything. Emma stood up. I want ice cream too. Sit down, Emma. You have pie. I want what Diego has. If he can't have pie, I want ice cream. Linda's face flushed. Emma, honey, that's silly. Your grandmother made you your favorite pumpkin. Then Diego should have some too. There isn't enough. You just said you made 3 pies. The room went silent. Emma was 9 years old, standing there with her fists clenched, staring down her grandmother. I'd never been more proud of her. And I'd never been more ashamed of myself for not standing up sooner. Emma, it's okay, Diego said quietly. I like ice cream. But his eyes were shiny. He was trying not to cry. That's when something inside me cracked. I stood up. Miguel, can you take the kids outside for a minute? Let them play on the swing set? He understood immediately. Come on, kids. Let's get some fresh air. The 3 of them filed out. Diego looked relieved to escape. Once the back door closed, I turned to Linda and Robert. What the hell was that? Jessica, language. No. You don't get to scold me about language after what I just watched. You gave that child scraps. You separated him from the girls. You lied about the pie. What the hell is going on? Linda set down her fork. I don't know what you're implying. I'm not implying anything. I'm saying it directly. You treated Diego like he was less than. Like he wasn't good enough to eat at the same table or have the same food. That's ridiculous. We were nothing but welcoming. You didn't even acknowledge him when we arrived. You barely looked at him. Robert sighed. Jessica, you're being oversensitive. The boy is fine. Children don't notice these things. Children notice everything. Diego noticed. Emma and Lily noticed. I noticed. Miguel noticed. Miguel, Linda said, and something in her tone made my skin crawl. Yes. Listen, Jessica. We need to be realistic here. You're dating this man. That's fine. But let's not pretend he's part of this family. I stared at her. Excuse me? The girls are our grandchildren. Our blood. We have a responsibility to them. We don't have that same responsibility to others. Others? I repeated flatly. His name is Diego. He's 8 years old. And he's important to Emma and Lily, which should make him important to you. He's your boyfriend's son, Linda said. That's different than being our grandchild. So, is Brittany not part of this family? She's not blood? That's different. She's married to Brad. And if Miguel and I get married? The question hung there. Linda and Robert exchanged a look. We'd need to discuss that, Robert said carefully. Discuss what exactly? Another pause. Then Linda spoke, and her words were acid. Jessica, honey, let's be frank. The girls have opportunities. Real opportunities. Their private school will open doors. Robert and I have connections. We can help with college, with internships, with their futures. Do you really want to jeopardize that over a man you've been dating for 2 years? Jeopardize, I said slowly. You mean if I continue this relationship, you'll cut off support? We mean that family resources should go to family, Robert said. Not to what? Say it. Not to Miguel's son, not to a Latino child, not to a teacher's kid. What exactly is it about Diego that makes him unworthy of basic human decency? Now you're putting words in our mouths, Linda snapped. This isn't about race. Isn't it? Because I'm looking at this whole evening, and I'm seeing a pattern. Diego gets the plastic table, the scraps, the ice cream, while everyone else gets pie. And you keep emphasizing that the girls are your grandchildren. Like that means Diego is what? Nothing? Less? Brad finally spoke. Mom, Dad. Maybe Jess has a point. The seating thing was a bit... Stay out of this, Bradley, Linda said sharply. This is between us and Jessica. I looked at Brad. Really looked at him. He wouldn't meet my eyes. You're not going to say anything, are you? I asked him. You're just going to sit there. Jess, it's complicated. It's not complicated. Your parents just treated a child like garbage in front of your daughters. It's very simple. They didn't. They did. And you saw it. And you said nothing. Brittany shifted uncomfortably on the couch. Robert refilled his wine glass. Linda crossed her arms. I think you need to think very carefully about your priorities, Linda said. Emma and Lily's futures are at stake here. Their futures? Or their trust funds? Don't be crude. $30,000 a year for school, I said. Piano lessons, ballet, summer camps, the college savings accounts you set up. You've been very generous, and I've been very grateful. But I'm starting to understand the price tag attached to that generosity. There's no price tag, Robert said. We love our granddaughters. Do you? Because loving them would mean teaching them that all people deserve respect, that Diego is just as valuable as they are. Instead, you're teaching them that love is conditional. That money buys compliance. That some people matter more than others based on whose DNA they share. You're being hysterical, Linda said. I'm being clear. I pulled out my phone. Let me show you something. I pulled up a video from 2 weeks ago. Emma, Lily, and Diego at our apartment, building a massive Lego structure together, laughing, helping each other, completely unself-conscious. At one point, Diego says, Emma, you're like my sister now. And Emma beams and says, You're my brother. I played it for them. They watched in silence. That's who your granddaughters are, I said. Kids who don't see divisions, who don't care about blood versus bonus family. They just see someone they love. And you're asking me to teach them to override that instinct, to value your money over their own moral compass. We're asking you to be practical, Robert said. Practical, I repeated. I thought about Diego's face when he saw the plastic table, the way he'd carefully controlled his expression so he wouldn't cry. 8 years old and already learning to make himself small. I thought about Miguel, who'd been so nervous about this dinner. Who'd bought Diego that dress shirt with dinosaurs because I want them to see him the way I see him perfect. I thought about Emma standing up for Diego, Lily sliding her food onto his plate. My daughters instinctively understanding that this was wrong. And I thought about all those times over the past 3 years when I'd heard little comments from Linda and Robert. At least the girls got Brad's good looks. Thank God the real grandchildren are doing well in school. We're so proud of OUR girls. I'd overlooked it, written it off as awkward phrasing. Old people being old people. But it wasn't awkward. It was deliberate. And I'd let it slide because the money was helpful. Because private school seemed worth it. Because I didn't want conflict. I'd sold out. Not for 30 pieces of silver for $30,000 a year. I looked at Brad. He still wouldn't meet my eyes. I looked at Linda and Robert. Their faces set in that particular expression wealthy people get when someone challenges their authority. I need to tell you something, I said. And I need you to really hear me. They waited. For the past 3 years, you've financially supported Emma and Lily. I've been grateful. Truly. But I realize now that I've been paying a price I didn't understand. I've been letting you control pieces of our lives, letting you dictate what's acceptable and what isn't. And today, you made it clear that accepting Miguel and Diego isn't acceptable to you. We never said that, Linda started. You showed it. Actions, Linda. Not words. And here's what I understand now. My daughters are watching me. They're learning from me how to move through the world. And if I accept this, if I let you treat Diego like he's less than, if I prioritize your money over his dignity, I'm teaching them that love is conditional, that some people matter more, that it's okay to hurt someone if there's a benefit to you. I pulled out my checkbook, started writing. What are you doing? Robert asked. Paying you back. For this year's tuition, I'll have the rest to you within 6 months. Jessica, don't be ridiculous. I'm being the opposite of ridiculous. I'm being clear. Emma and Lily will go to public school. They'll be fine. They'll be better than fine. Because they'll learn that their mom chose integrity over comfort, that we don't accept cruelty, even when it comes with a nice package. I ripped out the check. $30,000. It would drain my savings. I'd have to pick up freelance work, skip vacations, budget carefully. It was worth it. Take it, I said, holding it out. Linda didn't move. You're making a mistake. No, I made the mistake 3 years ago when I let you make me think I needed you. That my kids needed your money more than they needed their self-respect. Brad finally stood up. Jess, come on. Don't do this. Can't we talk about this? We are talking about it, and you're still not defending your daughters. You're not saying your parents were wrong. You're asking me not to rock the boat. It's more complicated than that. It's not. I asked you a year ago if your parents seemed weird about Miguel. You said I was imagining things. I asked you last month if you noticed they never asked about Diego. You said they were just old-fashioned. You keep making excuses for them, and by doing that, you're complicit. He flinched. Good. I set the check on the table. The girls and I won't be coming to family events anymore. Not until you can treat Miguel and Diego with the same respect you show Emma and Lily. Not until you understand that my family, MY family, the one I'm building includes all of us, not just the people who share your DNA. You can't keep our grandchildren from us, Robert said. I'm not. You're free to visit. Take them out. Spend time with them. But it will be on our terms. And our terms include basic human respect for everyone involved. Linda stood, shaking. You're being incredibly selfish, throwing away your daughter's opportunities for a man. For my family, I corrected. For the people I love. For the kids sitting outside right now who deserve better than this. And yes, that includes Miguel and Diego. Because they're not temporary. They're not just some guy I'm dating and his son. They're my people. I walked to the door, opened it. Miguel, kids, we're leaving. They came back inside. Diego's eyes were red, he'd been crying. Miguel had an arm around him. Emma and Lily were on either side, holding his hands. We heard yelling. Emma said quietly, Are you okay, Mom? I'm perfect, baby. Grab your coats. We're going home. But we didn't have pie, Lily started. We'll get pie somewhere else. Better pie. As we walked out, Linda called after us. Jessica, be reasonable. Think about what you're giving up. I turned back one last time. I'm not giving anything up. I'm choosing what matters. We drove to Marie Callender's and bought 3 pieces of pie to go. Ate them at our apartment, sitting on the living room floor, all 5 of us. Diego between Emma and Lily, exactly where he belonged. I'm sorry today was hard, I told Diego. He shrugged, trying to be brave. It's okay. It's not okay. The way they treated you was wrong. You deserved better. People are like that sometimes, he said quietly. My mom used to say some people just have small hearts. Miguel's eyes filled with tears. He pulled Diego close. Your mom was a wise woman, I said, and she was right. But here's what I want you to know. You are part of this family. You matter just as much as Emma and Lily. And anyone who can't see that doesn't get to be part of our lives. Even if they're rich? Diego asked. He was 8, but he understood. Even then. Especially then. Emma leaned her head on Diego's shoulder. You're my brother. I told Grandma that. I heard, Diego said. That was really cool. It wasn't cool. It's just true. Over the next few weeks, Linda called 17 times. I didn't answer. She left voicemails. Started with anger. How dare you walk out? You're being childish. The girls need stability. Then moved to bargaining. We can talk about this. Maybe we overreacted. Let's have lunch, just us. Finally landed on something approaching accountability. We didn't realize how it looked. We could have been more thoughtful. We missed the girls. I didn't return the calls. Brad texted, Mom and Dad feel terrible. Can we meet? I replied, Do they feel terrible that they hurt Diego? Or do they feel terrible that I walked away? He didn't answer. Emma and Lily started public school after winter break. Same school Diego attended. Miguel was down the hall teaching 4th grade. The kids walked to his classroom every day after school, did homework in his room while he finished grading papers. Money was tight. I took on extra freelance projects, taught myself to cook cheaper meals. We didn't go to the movies as much. No more Amazon packages showing up with random toys. But here's what we had: dinner together every night, all 5 of us around our tiny kitchen table that barely fit everyone. Homework help from an actual teacher. Saturdays at the park. Movie nights with blankets and popcorn. Diego stopped having nightmares. He'd been having them since his mom died, Miguel told me quietly one night. Bad dreams about being alone, about not belonging anywhere. 3 months after Thanksgiving, Diego was sleeping over. I went to check on all 3 kids before bed. They were in Emma's room, building another Lego structure. "Mom," Diego said, "can I ask you something?" "Of course, buddy." "Why did you walk away?" "From Brad's parents?" "They had a lot of money. And Emma and Lily liked that school." I sat down on the floor with them. Because money doesn't matter if it comes with conditions. And their condition was that you had to be less than. That you had to sit at the plastic table and eat scraps and not get pie. That you had to know your place. But that hurt you. You got hurt because of me. Diego, look at me. I waited until he met my eyes. I didn't get hurt because of you. I got hurt because I finally saw the truth about people I thought I knew. And yes, it cost money. But you know what it bought me? What? My self-respect. My daughter's respect. And the knowledge that I'm raising kids who understand that people matter more than things. That love isn't conditional. "Do you think they'll change?" he asked. "Brad's parents?" "I don't know. Maybe. But that's on them. We're not waiting around to find out." Emma piped up. "I like our school better anyway. Mrs. Chen lets us have pet frogs. And Dad's classroom is down the hall," Lily added. "We can see him whenever we want." Diego smiled, finally. A real smile. That is pretty cool. In April, Linda showed up at my apartment unannounced. I opened the door to find her standing there, looking smaller than I remembered. "Jessica, please, can we talk?" I didn't invite her in. "What do you need?" "I need to apologize. Really apologize. Not the half-hearted voicemail kind." I waited. "Robert and I have been in therapy," she said. "After Thanksgiving, we couldn't figure out why you reacted so strongly. We thought you were being oversensitive. But our therapist had us walk through the evening, detail by detail, and when we said it all out loud, heard it from outside our own heads." She stopped, wiped her eyes. "We heard how we sounded, what we'd done, and we were horrified. Jessica, I am so sorry. We treated that little boy like he was nothing. We prioritized money over people. We tried to manipulate you. We failed everyone. Diego, Miguel, you, and worst of all, Emma and Lily." "You did," I agreed. "I can't undo it, but I want to try to do better. Robert does too. We want to meet Miguel properly. Get to know Diego, if you'll let us." I leaned against the doorframe. "Why now?" "Because Emma sent us a letter." She pulled it from her purse, unfolded it. I recognized Emma's handwriting. "Dear Grandma and Grandpa," I read. "I miss you, but I can't come visit until you apologize to Diego. He cried on Thanksgiving. He thought he wasn't good enough. Mom says everyone is good enough just by being themselves. You made him feel bad about being himself. That's not okay. If you really love me and Lily, you'll understand that Diego is part of our family. We don't have parts that matter more and parts that matter less. We're just family. Love, Emma." I handed it back, blinking away tears. "She's 9 years old," Linda whispered. "And she's wiser than I've been in 65 years. She learned it somewhere," I said. "She learned it from you. You taught her that standing up for people is more important than money. That family is about choice and love, not just blood. You taught her by example, even when it cost you." We stood there in silence. "I can't promise overnight change," Linda finally said. "Old habits, old prejudices. They're insidious. But Robert and I are trying, really trying, and we'd like a chance to prove it. Not for us, for Emma and Lily, and for Diego." "Diego's not a charity case," I said sharply. "I know. God, I know. That's what we did wrong. We saw him as other, as extra, as someone to tolerate. We need to see him as what he is, part of your family. Which means part of ours if you'll have us." I thought about Diego's question. "Do you think they'll change?" "Maybe. But that's on them. I need time," I told Linda. "And I need to talk to Miguel. This isn't just my decision anymore. Diego's his son. Miguel's the one who watched his kid get treated like trash in your home. I understand. Just, please tell Miguel I'm sorry. Tell Diego I'm sorry. And tell him that if he'll give me another chance, I promise I'll do better. I didn't promise anything, but I took her number. That night, I told Miguel about the conversation. We were doing dishes while the kids watched a movie. What do you think? I asked him. He was quiet for a long time, hands in the soapy water. I think Diego deserves grandparents. Mine are in Mexico, only visit once a year. His mom's parents died before he was born. He's missing that. But only if they're good grandparents. Not if they're going to hurt him again. Agreed. He rinsed a plate, set it in the rack. But people can change. I've seen it happen. Usually not with the elderly, but Emma's letter probably hit different than anything we could have said. So we try? We try. Slowly. Supervised. With clear boundaries. And the first time they slip, we're done. It took 6 months of supervised visits. Coffee shops, neutral territory, never more than an hour. Linda and Robert asked questions about Diego's interests. Brought him books about science, his favorite subject. Remembered that he was allergic to strawberries when they brought treats. Small things, but consistent. In September, Emma's 10th birthday, I allowed them to come to the party at our apartment. They brought gifts similar value and thought for all 3 kids. They helped clean up afterward without being asked. Robert played Uno with Diego and lost graciously. Linda pulled me aside before they left. Thank you for this chance. Thank you for taking it seriously. I have something for you. She handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $30,000, the tuition money you paid back. This isn't to buy forgiveness. It's not strings attached, it's just an apology. Use it however you need, or don't use it at all. It's yours either way. I stared at it. That money could solve a lot of problems. Could pay down my credit card debt from the months of freelancing, could rebuild my savings, but taking it felt like going backward. I can't, I said, handing it back. Thank you, but no. Jessica. The money was never the problem. It was what you expected in exchange for it. If I take this now, even without strings, it changes the dynamic. We need to rebuild as equals, not as people who owe each other anything. She nodded slowly. You're probably right. But the offer stands. If you ever need it, for any reason, it's here. Miguel and I got engaged in October. Simple proposal, just us and the kids at the beach. Diego cried happy tears. Emma and Lily shrieked and jumped around like they'd been waiting for this their whole lives. We told Brad's parents at a family dinner, one we hosted at our apartment. They smiled and congratulated us. Seemed genuinely happy. Miguel, Robert said, I know I got off on the wrong foot, but I want you to know that I'm grateful you're joining this family. You're a good man. And you've been good for Jessica and the girls. Miguel shook his hand. Thank you. That means a lot. And Diego, Linda added, looking at my soon-to-be stepson, you're getting some pretty great sisters. They talk about you nonstop. Diego grinned. I know, they're cool. It wasn't perfect. There were still awkward moments. Times when Linda slipped and said the girls instead of the kids. Times when I had to remind them that Diego's school events mattered just as much as Emma's and Lily's. But they tried. Kept trying. And that made all the difference. The wedding was small. Our apartment complex courtyard, string lights, 30 people. Emma and Lily were junior bridesmaids. Diego was Miguel's best man. He took the job very seriously, held the rings without dropping them, gave a toast that made everyone cry. I used to think families were just the people you were born with, he said, reading from an index card he'd prepared. But then I met Jessica and Emma and Lily, and they showed me that families are the people who choose you, who stand up for you, who make sure you get pie. Everyone laughed at that last part, even Linda and Robert. So thank you, Jessica, for choosing me, for choosing us, for teaching me that I matter just because I'm me. I'm really glad you're going to be my mom. He'd never called me that before. I ugly cried through the rest of the ceremony. Our first family photo, all 5 of us, officially hangs in the living room now. Miguel and me in the middle. Emma and Lily on one side, Diego on the other. All of us smiling. No plastic tables, no paper plates, no scraps. Just family. Real family. The kind you build with intention and defend with everything you have. The kind worth walking away from $30,000 for. The kind worth everything.